Hey everyone, welcome back to Citywide Blackout, your home for music, movies, and more. I'm your host, Max Bowen. It's a mix of musical styles in this episode. To start things off, Melbourne-based singer-songwriter Lewis Ciavarella has been up to quite a bit over the last year. He's got a new album out called 2, and the electro pop styles are really something. We talk all about his development as an artist, which included a lot of time spent busking, as well as working with Kelly Rowland, following an appearance on The Voice. My next guest, he has just released a brand new album. I am joined by Melbourne-based singer-songwriter Lewis Ciavarella. Lewis, welcome to the show, man. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Max. I really appreciate the time you're taking to get me in.
Awesome, Cheers. Dude. Awesome, man. You know, I want to start by talking about teachers, because it seems like you've had a great musical education. You started off busking in Melbourne to working with Kelly Rowland after being on The Voice. But I want to start with busking because it's certainly a big thing here in the Boston area. You see people playing at like subway stations, on the trains, you name it. How did you get started doing this, and what was your experience in your area?
When did I start busking? I started busking when I was like, I'd say 15, 16. And it was just, I don't know, I seen like on social media, like I just got social media, this and that, and I saw videos of people doing it in the streets, especially my hometown and our streets. When something kicks off in our streets, it's just a big party, and I was living for that party, you know? So I just bought myself a little battery speaker one day and just went out after school and played and realized I could actually make money from doing something I like, and started doing that. I did it one day, I did it the next day, and then I started doing it every weekend, and all of a sudden I was like, okay, so I guess this is something I can do instead of working like a supermarket job or any other job, like a McDonald's job or something. I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to play on the streets of my hometown and make people happy whilst making myself happy. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, that's so cool. And I definitely agree, man. Way better than working in like the market or fast food, what have you. Where did you usually bust? Did you have a spot that was kind of like your go-to a lot?
Yeah. I had two spots. My spot during the day was like on one of the main strips in the city. It's called Swanston Street. It's just near the big Federation Square. It's near Burke Street, so it's a big shopping district, and you get the people going to work and leaving work and tourists and that. And that was good during the day. When it hit nighttime on the weekends, especially, I didn't actually start busking till like 1 a.m. because that's when most of the bars closed on the street I played. So it was like a really strategic, like a little strategic thing I had going on. It was on the corner of Brunswick Street and Johnson Street in Fitzroy, Melbourne, and those two streets are like raised me as the muso I am today. So I used to play on that corner every weekend at about 1 a.m. when all the bars close. So I just get all the drunk punters coming through and take all their money. Yeah, and from that street, I made really good friends with like all the venues up and down the strips. And till this day, I don't busk that much anymore because I've picked up my gigs and picked up my solo work and producing now. But to this day, I still go to that street and have just like a tight, I call them like a tight little family I've got going up there. So it's real cool.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. Now, did you become really like well known there, where you would have someone like the bar folks coming out of the bars and be like, "Hey, it's Lewis. He's back again."
Yeah, pretty much. And like I go there, I as I said, I still go there like these days, and people recognize me from busking. But now people like recognize me from playing in the bars and stuff. Like I do this cheeky little cover of Sandstorm by Darude. I do like an acoustic version of that, so everyone knows me for that up there. And I'm trying to steer away from it, but it's never going to leave me.
They never do, man. They never do. Now, does Melbourne have like a large busking community? Did you have to kind of find spots that weren't like already taken?
There is a big, I'd say, music community instead of busking. But busking community, yeah, there's their regular buskers that have their own spots and spots that you should respect and not take away. Like no one owns a spot, but you know whose spot it is. So you just, yeah, you just chill out. If they're not there, you play for a bit. But if you see them rock up, you better leave. You know.
Oh shit, he's here. Gotta go.
Sorry, mate. See ya.
Sorry about that, dude. All yours. Love that.
Stealing all their customers and stuff.
Ooh, I could see some busking feuds happening from someone kind of taking like someone's spot or hanging around like a little bit too long or something like that.
Yeah, man. Like since I've been in the scene, like I've been in the scene for like 6-7 years now, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone have a fight or anything over a spot. And I think that's like really shows the respect the Melbourne music community has for one another. You know what I mean?
I get you.
And that's why like it makes me like proud to be a part of it because I've never seen anyone fight. Every now and then you see like the social media musos go nuts at each other, but that's different.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the Darut song being one that you did a bunch. Did you have any others that were kind of like common for you? Like every time you play, you do the song.
Yeah, I do like a little Chris Cornell version of Billie Jean, just a bit more upbeat though. And I think that's a cover I do that everyone's pretty on about at me all the time. You know what I mean? I did. I actually played that version with the whole band for the voice audition down here, and it was good fun. It helped me get Kelly Rowland to turn, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, man. I wanna talk about that next because I read that and that one I'm a huge fan of The Voice, love the show. How did you come to be on The Voice and wind up working with Kelly Rowland?
My favorite question. It was actually I was still in school when the show come about, so it was like my last year of school, year 12, and I hated school. So in class, I did absolutely nothing. I just played on my computer the whole time. And an ad popped up while I was in IT class, and I was just like looking at it, reading through it. The Voice Australia taking auditions. I was reading like all the bios and everyone who's been on it, and then just at the end of the article there was like apply now, and I was like, you know what? All right, done. And I just did my whole application at school in class. It took me about the whole class to find a video, answering questions, this and that. By the end of the class, the bell rang, I pressed submit, and the teacher was like, okay, I hope everyone was listening to that because it's going to be very important for the exam. I'm like, ooh, okay, see you later.
Well.
Yeah, so yeah, it was just, I applied with complete boredom in class, and it was probably the best decision I ever made.
I'll bet, man. Being on The Voice, though, was that like a huge, like nerve-wracking experience for you?
It was very different to what I thought it would be, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like, growing up in Melbourne, especially in the music scene, there's a lot of older mentors, and they tell you that The Voice, Australia's Got Talent, America's Got Talent, all those TV talent shows, that they're all evil, and that if you apply for it, you're just signing yourself away. You're selling out, this and that. I'm not sure if that's what it's like down your end, but down here, like some older musos are like very against those shows. And for most of my life, I grew up thinking like, yeah, no, I'm never going to do that. And when I did it and got there and experienced everything, it was such like it was so humbling and so nice. And I couldn't say a bad word about it. You know what I mean? And working with Callie as well, like she's such a lovely person. The experience she has, I take on every day from the experience and the advice she's given me. To this day, I still take some of that on. Just like be yourself. Don't let anyone tell you how to be you. You know what I mean?
I think that's very key advice because I think as an artist, sometimes you might feel like, okay, I want to be like whoever's popular now because I want to be famous, and so I'll just kind of mimic whatever like the trend is now. But
Yeah.
how else did Kelly help you develop as a musician?
Oh, so long ago, you know what I mean? The stuff I remember, like, yeah, the be who you want to be part, that really stuck out to me. How she said, do what you want to do musically, take songwriting aspects into it, tell your story, don't tell someone else's story. And like you said, there's so many people, and I'd probably say kids as well, trying to get famous these days. And to be honest, like the last year and a half, I actually haven't minded the people that have come out in the last half a year. I used to be so against like trap music, this and that, but like being in lockdown, I've opened myself up to so many different types of music, and some of the stuff I've heard lately is really cool, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's actually inspired me. Like I never thought I'd see myself making a hip hop soul funk record from when I was growing up listening to heavy metal and hard rock. You know what I mean?
It's quite a switch. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. You know, I'm curious, if someone was going on one of these kinds of shows, what do you think you could tell them to help them kind of prepare for the experience?
Treat it like any other show you've played before. Don't treat it. Don't treat it as a competition, and don't treat it as I shouldn't probably say. Don't treat it as a singing competition, because it's not a singing competition. It's a TV show before it's a singing competition. You know what I mean? They're there to. It's a reality show. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you're working with really, really talented artists, and they're going to tell you what you need to hear. So some might sound like as they're putting you down. Some people don't get in, and they tell them, look, work on this, work on that. Some of the contestants will get really angry, and some of the contestants will take it with all they have and actually take that on and develop as an artist. And that's what I would say to people. Use criticism to develop and be yourself and just have fun, you know? Classic one at the end. Have fun. That's the main one.
Definitely. Have you ever had any serious criticism that you feel helped to develop you?
Yes, from my parents especially. They they're the best. You know, your parents are always going to be the ones that will tell you how it is. You know what I mean? They're not gonna sugarcoat it. And my old man tells me all the time, it's like, man, you got to stop swearing all the time. So here I am now trying not to swear. In my head, I'm like, oh, it's like holding it back. So that's one of them. Just talking as well. Like I've never been too big on talking at my gigs. Like I'll play my songs and then not say anything and play the next song and just do that the whole night. So I'm there playing songs and not communicating to absolutely anyone. So that's one I'm working on at the minute, is my talking voice and not my singing voice.
I've seen that be like the hardest thing for some artists. Like they'll go up there, they'll sing, and they'll do it with such power and passion. And then the time comes for the between song banter, and they are meek as a dormouse.
Quiet, man. It's just like there's no one on the stage. It's like it's like me, man. Like some people find it so weird that I can sing to crowds of hundreds or whatever, and not be able to talk to anyone in real life. When I go on my break after my shows, I go out for a cigarette and I just put my head down, like, no one talk to me, because I don't want to talk to anyone.
It's like, I'm not singing, go away. Don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. It's just like, oh yeah, I've been singing all that. I don't want to talk. I just want to play, go home, get paid, go home, have a drink. So, but I've been working on the communication bit, which is good, and that's one of the biggest criticisms I've had, which I'm trying to take on and taking on. Criticisms musically. Sometimes it's singing. I've got a very unorthodox way of singing. Like I've had vocal training before, but it was only for like a couple lessons because I don't like. The thing with me, Max, I don't like being told what to do. So the way I sing is very, very different to the way other people sing. I sing a lot through my throat, but when I need to push through, I push through. It's just something that I've done my whole life, and I'm working on that too. So that's another criticism I've got.
Are you also the same way when it comes to your music? Like do you find that when it comes to things like the instrumentation, effects, you just kind of like do your own thing and don't worry about what anyone else thinks?
Yes and no. So I'll make my songs the way I want, but I work with one other person with my music, and his name's Matthew Bird, and he helps me produce. I do a lot of the writing. He does a lot of the production stuff. He's really good at it. So he helps me take my 10-minute songs and make them 3-minute songs. You know what I mean? which I love. So there's not really any crossover between us. I'll write the music and show him. He'll put it together for me, and we work real well together. But he'll also tell me if I need to change something, because I'm always open to change and hearing what other people would think goes there. And sometimes he's got a good point and we change it. Sometimes I just let him keep producing, you know.
I get you, man. I get you. How did you and Matthew meet?
We actually went to high school together. He was a couple years above me. But we didn't really talk that much in high school. It was until we got out of high school when I saw he was doing production stuff. I went over to his house and had a chat, and since then we've just been working together. And he helped me produce my second album there too, and he also helped me do the first one as well. So, and now he'll be playing in my live band as well, which is good. So we just become real good friends over the years, you know.
Okay. Let's talk about the new EP, your second album, 2, aptly named, I think. You put this out. No,
it's just simple, man. Simple. The first one was 1. This one's 2. Next one, I'm not sure yet.
You should call it
maybe
5.
3.
You should call it 5.
5, but
people's heads.
2.1.
There you go. There you go. Mix it up. Mess people. It can be kind of fun.
So let's go back.
What's been the response since it's been put out there?
The response is better than I thought it would be, and I think that's with every artist that puts anything out. You know, like I love my work, and I love just making music. But when you put it out to the world, it's just like, like I like it, but so what will other people think? The release day did really well. I got a whole bunch of messages from friends and family, which was good, and people I've never met a day in my life, and which has been good. It's got me to this little podcast we're doing with you. I had another radio station. We're in South Carolina, I think it was, a couple of days ago. So the way it's pushing out into the world and the response I'm getting is incredible, and I'm so appreciative of all of that. For a little independent like me, I'm doing this stuff we're doing now for the first time ever, and it may not be huge to some people, but it's huge to me. You know what I mean? It's great.
Yeah, I get you, man. Yeah, there's always a lot of firsts, like the first album, the first interview, the first random message from someone you've never met a day in your life saying, "Hey, I love this thing."
Yeah, it's so inspiring, man. Like just to keep going. From then, like I've got the next one in the works already.
That's always the case. Like I've never heard someone say, "Okay, I put up my album, and now I'm just gonna chill for a while. I don't really have nothing else planned." It's always, "Oh yeah, I got like
man,
exactly."
Gotta grind.
You've always got something going. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, normally putting out an album, you would have all these things to go with it. You would be doing like a CD release show. You would be doing a tour. Obviously, we can't do any of that right now. Obviously, things are all still kind of locked
Man.
down.
The only thing we can do is create, and it's probably the best time for any type of creative to really show what you got now. So it's cool that the whole second EP we put out, that was all done in lockdown.
Wow.
So I did most of the recordings in my house, in my bedroom, in my bathroom, in my back room, and then we went over to Matthew's studio when it was legal. We went there, and yeah, it's just the best time to put down what's on your mind creatively. I encourage anyone to do that because it's just in the long run, you really appreciate yourself. There's a word for it, but I'm not good with words, as you know.
Exactly. You know, it's funny because when I ask people about that, about like, you know, making their art during this lockdown, I get a range of responses. Some people say, "Oh, I just had nothing in me. I just didn't do anything for like 6 months." Other people say, "No, I just put out 3 albums. I wrote a book.
Yeah,
I did
man.
this, I did that." You know, it's usually kind of one or the other. It's like they dead stop or they've been the most productive that they have ever been.
It's crazy, man. Like I went from being out every night, playing every night, with all this inspiration around me, from all the places I went to by myself and with another band I'm in, Sienna Wild. A little bit of a plug. That's a plug. We went interstate, so much inspirational around us, and I wrote nothing. To be locked in my house for 7 months with just my house and looking around my house. I see my house every day, and all these words started spilling out. Everything on my mind, everything that you think about when you're by yourself, I just put it into music and into words, and that's how this album come about. This is a crazy way to work.
It is.
Lockdown.
Hey, man, I'm right there with you, dude. Was it hard for you to transition when everything just came to like the dead stop, to go from out all night to being home all day?
Crazy. Well, I'm pretty much home all day anyway, so that didn't bother me. It was being home at night. That's what bothered me. So I'm a night owl. My mother tells everyone that. Lewis, I usually sleep during the day. I haven't seen the morning sun in years, mate. Thanks for getting me up. Yeah, being home at night, it's just different because I love being out and I love being with my friends. Plus, like, I'm an only child as well, so I live with my parents at the minute. So I'm by myself here. I'm with my folks, but when they go to bed, it's just me. So just sitting with your own thoughts. It's quite beautiful, but it's also quite scary at the same time.
Speaking of thoughts, I want to talk about the stories contained within your songs. Now, you touch on a lot of like different things, but one of the things that I really dug was in the song "New Sun." What I got from this was the story of being like on the road, touring, seeing all these different spots. Did this reflect your own life a lot prior to COVID?
That song is sort of like that. That song, most of the songs are about a girl.
Fair enough.
But I like to tell people, when people ask me what my songs are about, I say, whichever way you think, whatever you think the song is about, that's what the song's about. That's how I like to tell people. But that song's actually about being in like a breakup situation, which it is, and saying to yourself, "Oh, I don't care. I don't want to know what's happening with you, this and that." To get to the point where it was, you stay up all night and you see the new sun come up, and you're like, "I'm a new person. I've got everything I needed to go." And then back into the verse, it's like you're going straight back to where you were at the start. And I actually wrote that song in a hotel room. So in the chorus, like I see the new sun rising from my hotel room. I wrote that song in a hotel room, but also I had those thoughts in the verses. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't care. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to be about it. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care that you're with that new guy because I can do it better. You know what I mean? And that all builds up to the chorus, and like you're finally this new person. You see the new sun. It's a new day, and then the night comes back, and you're just back to where you were at the start.
Well, I was wrong.
Yeah, I know you were completely right, man. Whichever way you see that song, that's the way you should look at that song. And I tell that to everyone with any song I put out. What's this song about, Louis? It's about whatever you want it to be about. Whichever way you see it, whichever way makes you the happiest, listening to it, or even the saddest, that's what it's about. Because I have my perceptions of my songs, and other people will have their views on it and how they see it, you know?
Do you find that people do have that wide range of takes on the music? Like they'll think, oh, it's about this, it's about that. Do you find that you get a lot of different like answers?
Of course, man. I even do it with songs, you know? Like any song I listen to, also I'll take it how I feel it, you know? And it could be I could think of songs about a woman and the song could be about a car, you know? It's how you see. It's how you hear the song. That's the beauty of music, you know?
All right, man. I want to talk a bit about connecting with the audience because I know, of course, prior to this, you would be out all night doing shows, things like that. And now, obviously, that becomes a lot harder. You're doing everything through like live streams and your Instagram and so forth. How has it been keeping the audience engaged?
Socials, man. Socials, live streams.
Yeah.
They are big help during the lockdown we had. Like it's I'm so lucky to live in Melbourne. We've just come off our lockdown, so we've been back on the field and playing again, which is good. The venues, not all the venues are open yet, but some of the venues are, so we can play in there. It's still different. Like you have to sit down, wear a mask, this and that. So it's not as jumpy and rowdy as it used to be. But keeping audiences entertained in lockdown, it was all about the live stream, man. All about the live stream. I only did a couple, and the couple I did went really well, so that helped a lot. And just plus, even just like little Instagram lives, just talking smack and just on getting people to ask you questions and just, engaging, just chatting, this and that. Even like we did a lot of collaborations here. So everyone was in talk with a different artist, and we're saying, okay, we'll make a song. I'll produce it at home, make it, record it, and send it to you, and you record your bit. We'll send it off, get it mixed, get it mastered, and put it out. And that's one way we kept everyone entertained. It was just like just work together, you know. You're stronger together than you are apart.
I get that.
So we took that on during lockdown. Yeah.
So what is coming up next for you? I mean, you mentioned that shows have begun to resume. What do you have planned for the near future?
For my solo stuff, my original stuff, I've actually put a little band together, and we're in rehearsals at the minute. Our first show should be in July, so that's going to be my debut for my first EP and my second EP. So it's going to be like 2 EP launches and 2 single launches all in one. And it's going to be on my birthday as well, which is going to be good. So I can just make it a birthday party. So you have to come, you know?
Absolutely, man.
So
absolutely.
That's looking good. Yeah, we're just working on some more new songs, which is good. And yeah, man, it's mainly just this band and getting the live show together now. And hopefully, by mid this year, we'll be all up and running.
Fingers crossed, dude.
Be great. Cheers.
Want to also ask you, before we wrap things up, just a bit about your own style. Now, I really dug like the pop, electronic feel of the music. How did that come to be your style? Because you mentioned earlier that you kind of grew up on a lot of like the metal and the hard rock stuff.
Man, I'll tell you, lockdown changed me, man. I'm a new person. You know, when the Mormons come knocking on your door and you get converted, I got converted in lockdown just listening. So, yeah, it's literally just listening to stuff you never listened to before. It'll really change you. And I was so locked into this rock, folk, metal scene. I never expanded it. When I expanded it, I was like, oh my God, there's more to life, you know? And from there, like I was listening to a lot of Mac Miller. I was listening to a lot of Anderson .Paak. I was listening to a lot of hip hop and soul artists. But I was also listening to bands like the Eagles and AC/DC and the Supertramp. I took the Eagles storytelling, Supertramp storytelling, AC/DC storytelling, and mixed it with the beats and the grooves of Mac Miller, Anderson .Paak, and Eminem, say, and all that soul hip hop music, mixed it with old school storytelling, and that's how I built my little style I've got going on now.
Cool, man. Cool. I love to ask about music scenes all over the place. Who are some of the other artists that in your area people should be listening for?
Where I'm from, we're really big on the support local.
Yep.
When we go out to see gigs at clubs here, it's usually we're all friends. So two of my best mates, or most of my best mates, they play in a band they call Kihu. And they're Torres Strait Islander Indigenous group, so they're First Nations people of the country. And they such different styles between all of them, and they come together and just put out this punk rock show, and I'm like, oh my God, this is cool. So shout out to Kihu. I play with a rock band. We're called Sienna Wild. And we're putting out indie rock tracks all the time. Heaps of other bands as well, man. The scene here is just it's so loving. Like we've actually got to play a couple shows this year, with Sienna Wild, and we get Kihu to support us. And when Kihu play, we support them, and it's just been like this little ongoing thing now. And we probably have to change it up and probably get someone else on. But like we just help each other. We just help each other all the time, and that's with every other band as well. Though, like everyone you see play here, everyone you see on a lineup, 9 times out of 10 they're all friends and they're not strangers. You know what I mean? And that's with everyone running around here, man. And that's how I would describe the Melbourne music scene. It's just loving and caring, and it's just friendship. You know what I mean? No one puts each other down. I've seen some music scenes. I've been around Australia, not everywhere, but I've seen a lot of talk. You know what I mean? People just putting each other down. And I'm like, oh, I'm so happy I live in Melbourne and everyone's friends.
I dig that, man. I dig that. All right. Well, Lewis, man, it's been great talking to you, dude. Definitely loving the new album, folks. Check it out, Lewis Ciavarella. You can go to lewiscmusic.com for all the links. Listen to 2. It's really cool. And definitely looking forward to whatever's coming next.
Thank you, Max. Thanks for having me, man. Cheers. I really appreciate it.
This is your girl, Lady V, host of The V Line, and you're listening to Citywide Blackout.
It's break time, folks. Kick back and enjoy Lewis's single, New Sun. And after this, we're talking with LA-based singer-songwriter Tara Kelly for the new music video for her single, The River.
Can you hear that? Babe, I really think that I can give you something more. When you hear me talking about you, just know it ain't nothing too personal. I can see you by my side. Just sit back, honey, enjoy the ride. I don't wanna know what you you're doing with him, baby, I can do it better. Oh, I can see the new sun rising from my hotel room. Oh, I just wanna come home, baby. Come home to you. Oh, I can see the new sun rising from my hotel room. Oh, I just wanna come home, baby. Come home to you. About it, don't wanna hear about it. Every time I speak about it, why we gotta fight about it? Every time I think about it, why am I getting mad about it? I don't give a fuck about it. I can do it better. Don't wanna know about it, don't know how to feel about it. Why can't I forget about it? Every time I hear about it, I can draw a blank about it. I don't wanna know about it, I don't give a fuck about it. I can do it better. Oh, I can see the new sun rising from my hotel room. Oh, I just wanna come home, baby. Come home to you. Oh, I can see the new sun rising from my hotel room. Oh, I just wanna come home, baby. Come home to you.
I am talking with LA-based Tara Kelly for her new music video for her single, The River. And folks, if you haven't checked it out, definitely do so. There will be a link in the description below. And Tara, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay. So this music video has a lot of stories behind it. One of the things that I was really curious about is this video, the song Story, is all about a woman who learns that that her lover has been less than faithful to her. But I'm curious where the origin for the song came from.
It came actually from a deeply personal experience that was exactly that. I was dating someone who you could say was less than faithful. And by less than faithful, I mean he was married already to someone else. And I had no idea while we were dating. I don't know. I was young and I don't know how I had no idea, but I was completely under the illusion that, you know, everything was fine. And in fact, he actually told me that he was going through a divorce. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, you know, I'm in the weird, treacherous area of a relationship. Like, this will be interesting, but everything seems fine. And then all of a sudden there was this sort of like big reveal moment that was not the case and that he was very much still married. And it was a huge shock for me. And so when we went to like go into the session to write this song, I had The River as like a general title and concept that I always kept in my songbook, but I didn't really know what to do with it. And I was telling my co-writers this story and they were like, holy crap, like that's insane. Like we got to put that into this song, like I think it'll really resonate with some of the metaphors that you have going. And I mean, immediately almost we were like messing around with this E minor riff, and it just like the song basically just like poured out of us. It was so simple. It took like 20 minutes to an hour realistically to finish it. 20 minutes probably to get it down, and then an hour to be like, okay, are we sure we like it? But it was amazing. It was one of those really special studio moments, and I wanted the video to like reflect that exact story as well, in terms of how it made me feel, to sort of discover that information.
Did you have to change whatever your like plan A was for the video, since there are so many like setups and ideas and concepts that we just can't do right now?
That's a great question. I feel so fortunate and so lucky that I happen to be co-quarantining with a house here in Venice of creators of all kinds. So, you know, YouTubers, editors, influencers, photographers. My apartment, my roommates and I, and then this house have all sort of only been seeing each other. So we've been able to create a lot of things throughout quarantine that we would normally be able to. And their house in particular that they live in, it was like Abbott Kinney and Charlie Chaplin's old house. It's this beautiful home right on the beach in Venice. And it looks very Southern. And I said to the director who lives there, I was like, hey, if we could shoot here, that would be really amazing. And he's like, yeah, of course. Like, we're always shooting here. That's what we do. We create. So I got really lucky that I got my dream location and kind of my dream collaborators, despite being in the times that we're in.
That sounds like a wonderful house, and I want to live there.
Don't we all? It's honestly amazing. It's truly like community living, and they're really taking advantage of it. So yeah, it's been such a blessing.
Okay. Now, speaking of fellow creators, you worked with Hunter Garner for this one. He was your co-star for the video. Who is he, and what was it like working with him?
He is an actor that I have actually known here in LA for almost 10 years now, which is insane to think about. We were like teenagers when we met, and we weren't super close at the time, but we had a lot of mutual friends. And then a friend of mine who lives at this house, I was mentioning to him, you know, hey, I'm going to need an actor for this thing. What do we do? And he's like, oh, I have an amazing friend. He's totally got the look you're going for. And as soon as he pulled him up, I was like, oh, I know this person. We were friends 10 years ago. This is crazy. So it just beautifully worked out. And we were, you know, as safe and cautious as we could be, all, you know, got COVID tested and made sure that we did the production in as safe of a way as we could and kept like the crew really small.
Were there any tough scenes, either because of like the personal attachment or just because of like what was called for?
There were definitely some tough scenes, I think, in terms of the personal attachment to that story that I shared earlier about finding out that my former boyfriend was married. I mean, when I walked in, and we did that scene a few times where I sort of walk in and catch my lover being unfaithful, I definitely felt those similar pangs of pain. And it was weird. I did not at all think I was going to feel that. I was like, oh, we're doing a thing. We're acting. We're in the moment. We're creating. And I immediately was rushed back to that experience. It was kind of strange to feel that, but also incredibly empowering and helpful in the scene to help me like convey that emotion. And by the time we went and looked back through the shots, I was like, whoa, I think I was really feeling that in that moment.
I could definitely tell, and Hunter,
thank you.
Hunter just nailed it. I mean, he did a phenomenal job. Whether it was that scene or the others where you were like a happy couple, it just totally nailed it. The one thing that I thought was interesting was the scene where you walk in, you see him with the other girl, you leave, he takes off after you. I'm thinking, what are you going to say, dude? Really, what are you going to say? What do you say to turn this around exactly?
Well, can I tell you a funny story? We had to have him saying something, not only to the other girl, but like to me when he was leaving. But obviously it's a music video, so it doesn't really matter what he says. And truly in that moment, I mean, my former boyfriend did the same thing. There's nothing you can say. Like, you're just kind of caught, and that is what it is. But what he was saying the whole time to Janelle, the girl who was playing the other woman, so to speak, he was like, do you like guacamole? I'm a guacamole person. Do you want Chipotle after this? And then as I was leaving, he was like, wait. Can you go get my Chipotle outside? The Postmates guy just delivered it. And it made us laugh so hard. I was like, I don't know how we're going to get through the scene. If you
how did you do that? How did you do that with a straight face?
There were a few moments where I did not have a straight face. And there's definitely some takes that captured me without a straight face. So we just left those on the cutting room floor, but it was very funny. It was a good time.
Wow. Well, you know what? Credit to Hunter and credit to you for getting through that and not just like losing it every single take.
We almost did. We definitely almost did, but thank you. I appreciate that.
And I understand that there was also some like environmental issues as well. Like you had wanted rain for a certain scene, but no rain was happening. So how did you kind of work through that one?
Well, we got really lucky to be able to create rain in LA because rain in LA is not a thing. It notoriously never rains here. Even now during this rainy season, like if we, get it once or twice, we're really lucky. And it definitely needs it here. So my director was like, we really want to do this car rain scene. I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe we can just like spray, a hose at the car, like we'll figure something out. But when we were attempting to go do that, we were like, I don't even know if it's going to look good. Maybe we shouldn't shoot it. And one of the creators who also lives at the house, he's this incredible YouTuber. His name is Louis Cole. He came out with the garden hose and he's really tall. And he was like, hey guys, I'm just going to stand like on an apple box and prop it up on a street sign with the spray mode on and it'll just start raining down on the car. We were like, that's insane. Let's try it. And immediately as soon as he did it, I got in the car and I was like, and I'm from New Jersey, so I know rain. I was like, I feel like it's a truly torrential downpour in this car as we speak. So we got really lucky that we were able to make that happen.
I had no idea that whole thing was faked. No clue.
No way.
I legitimately thought, okay, it's raining out. Wow, weird timing.
We got very lucky that we were able to make it fake rain. It was pretty cool.
So how does it feel to have the video done, especially given all the different hands that were involved with it?
It feels incredibly good. I got also really lucky that I had amazing collaborators throughout this whole experience. But when it came time after shooting to edit it, I was really passionate about editing it myself. I have background as an editor, and I really wanted to attempt to take that on. And I had one other friend who kind of helped give me sort of a third eye perspective who is incredible with what he does. But I spent the first 24 hours editing it by myself and had a cut done within a day. I was up all night, which is not something I do. I really value my sleep. And I was just in like a pure creative flow state, and it was amazing. So to have it feel like it's finally going to be out in the world is the best feeling.
Now, at the time of this recording, the video is not yet released. Are you the type
hours?
Yeah, really. A few hours from the time of this recording. Are you the type to like just sit by YouTube and just like refresh the page, like see the comments, or you just like to walk away, unplug, and just not deal with it?
I'm the type that, and I like talking about this. I mean, as an independent artist, and especially as a woman in this business, I do so much of this myself. I have an incredible team, but a lot of this is on me. So I really do like having a hand in making sure like it goes live and it does what it's supposed to do and everybody's happy. But then you're right. I mean, I love engaging with my fans, and I love, reading the comments and seeing all the positive affirmations. It's really like such an incredible experience. And even the negative ones as well. Like it's important, I think, to have all those loops of feedback and to feel what people are feeling. But I am more than happy, I think, to like, let it be there, let it be what it will be, and walk away knowing that I truly did give it my all and made a piece of art that I'm really proud of.
Mm-hmm. Share it to your socials and take a walk.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'm like, oh, it's up. Great. I'm going to go for a little midnight stroll.
Yep. I'm out of here. See you later.
In the morning. Yes.
Yeah. So
that's the plan.
So what is next for you?
Ooh, I got a new song coming. I am very excited. New singles on the way. We just actually shot the album art for it last night. In the one time it rained in LA, we had some insane clouds last night and it was unreal. We got so lucky. And I wrote it with Billy D'Elia. He is in a band called Grizfolk. And they're incredible. And I got so lucky that we had such an incredible session together. So I am so excited for that song to come out. Stay tuned for more. I will be able to reveal more soon. But yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Tara, great talking to you. I love the video. The song's amazing. But where do folks go to learn more about you?
Yes, I am at Tara Kelly Music on almost everything, TARAKELLY Music. And then on YouTube, I'm just youtube.com/Tara Kelly. So go there to check out the video. And thank you so much, seriously, for having me. This has been lovely.
You're very welcome. All right, folks, that brings this episode to a close. You can follow the show on Facebook under Citywide Blackout and Twitter and Instagram under Citywide Max. Listen to the show on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and every Saturday at 10 p.m. on Boston Free Radio. To close things out, here's Tara Kelly's single, The River. As always, keep those ears open.
Don't know where I'm going. Lead me there and show me who you are. Sing me a tune, stay charmer. Darkness makes it harder. Head above the water, getting cold. Want you to take me farther. Sing me a tune, stay charmer. It's a long, long way back home. How could I know when the white water rushes in? Lay me down, let me drown. Your storm had its way with me, but I can't ignore the thunder. Yeah, you lay me down, let me drown in the river. Touch me and I'll know